In the heart of a bustling city, tucked away on a street lined with towering oaks, stood Whispering Pages, a quaint bookstore owned by Maya Thompson. At 28, Maya was the epitome of a modern-day bibliophile, her doe eyes often found hidden behind a pair of black glasses, diving into the depths of literary worlds sprawled across the pages she so cherished. Her wavy auburn hair, usually pulled back to focus on her latest read, framed her face in a way that accentuated her thoughtful expression. The bookstore was her sanctuary, a place where she could indulge in her love for books and share it with others who sought refuge in the stories that lined the shelves. On a crisp autumn afternoon, as the sun cast a golden hue over the city, the bell above the door chimed, heralding the arrival of a new customer. Maya looked up from her desk, where she was meticulously planning the next book club meeting, to see a tall figure browsing through the historical fiction section. The man, with neatly combed hair and an air of quiet confidence, seemed to be searching for something specific. Maya, ever the helpful bookstore owner, approached him with a friendly smile. "Looking for anything in particular?" she inquired, her curiosity piqued. The man turned, and their eyes met. "Actually, yes. I was hoping to find a novel set during the Revolutionary War." "It's for research," he explained, his voice smooth and engaging. "I have just the thing," Maya responded, leading him to a shelf where several titles met his description. As they discussed the various books, Maya learned that the man's name was David Carter, a 32-year-old aspiring author who worked at a local publisher. Their conversation flowed effortlessly, with shared laughs and insightful comments on their favorite authors and novels. Before leaving, David did something unexpected. He asked Maya on a date, intrigued by her passion for books and her insightful perspectives. Flattered and equally interested, Maya accepted, marking the beginning of a connection that felt as if it were scripted from the very novels she adored. Their first date was filled with conversations that ranged from the trivial to the profound, laughter that filled the room, and an undeniable chemistry that neither could ignore. David mentioned his endeavor to get a book published, a love story set against the backdrop of the Revolutionary War, a tale of forbidden love between a British soldier and an American woman. Maya's interest was immediately piqued, and she begged David to let her read the manuscript. Reluctantly, he agreed, eager to see her reaction. Maya fell in love with the story from the first page. The characters were vividly drawn, their love transcendent, their struggles heartbreaking. She praised David's talent, convinced he was on the brink of literary success. However, the idyllic romance faced an unforeseen challenge. One rainy afternoon, Maya was sifting through an old box in the storeroom of her bookstore, searching for a rare book she remembered acquiring years ago. Instead, she stumbled upon an unpublished manuscript, its pages yellowed with time. Curiosity led her to begin reading, and, to her astonishment, the story mirrored that of David's novel. The author was William Harper, a young man who perished in the trenches of World War I. A whirlwind of research revealed the heartbreaking truth. William had been in the process of publishing his novel with the same publisher where David worked. His untimely death left the book in limbo, unpublished and forgotten, until David, seemingly, claimed it as his own. The discovery left Maya heartbroken and disillusioned. She was torn between her love for David and the betrayal of his deceit. After much deliberation, she decided to confront him, her heart heavy with the weight of her decision. Following the confrontation, the atmosphere between Maya and David became fraught with unspoken words and heavy silences. Maya, struggling with her discovery, found it increasingly difficult to look at David without feeling a sense of betrayal. Despite her deep feelings for him, she knew that confronting David about the manuscript was inevitable. The truth about the origins of his novel, a secret that tethered her heart to a maelstrom of disappointment, loomed large over their burgeoning relationship. It was on a cool evening, the kind that hinted at the onset of winter, when Maya finally decided to address the issue. They met at a quaint coffee shop, a place that had become their sanctuary for intimate conversations and laughter. Yet, this time, the air was thick with tension, the usually comforting aroma of coffee unable to mask the sense of impending revelation. David, there's something we need to talk about, Maya began, her voice steady despite the turmoil within. She recounted the discovery of the manuscript, the name William David etched across its yellowed pages, and the haunting realization that the story David claimed as his own was written by another soul, long departed from this world. David's initial reaction was one of shock, followed swiftly by a profound sense of guilt. The facade he had carefully constructed, of a burgeoning author on the brink of his literary debut, crumbled before Maya's discerning eyes. He had indeed found the manuscript in an old filing cabinet at the publisher, its story captivating him so entirely that he made the fateful decision to claim it as his own. In the face of Maya's hurt and disillusionment, David found himself at a loss, the weight of his deceit bearing down on him. "I'm sorry," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. "I thought I could make it mine, but I was wrong. The story belonged to William, and I had no right to take it." The conversation that followed was one of the hardest Maya had ever endured. The revelation not only threatened the fabric of their relationship, but also shook her belief in the power of stories to bring people together. In the end, Maya made the heart-wrenching decision to step back from their relationship. She needed space to reconcile her feelings and the profound sense of betrayal that lingered. Days turned into weeks, and the bookstore that once felt like a haven to Maya now served as a constant reminder of her broken heart and the deception that had fractured her world. David, on his part, was left to grapple with the consequences of his actions. Maya's disappointment served as a wake-up call, compelling him to confront the moral implications of his deceit. In a moment of clarity, driven by the loss of Maya's trust and affection, David approached his publisher to confess the truth about the manuscript. The fallout from his confession was immediate and far-reaching. David offered to resign, willing to accept the full brunt of his actions. Yet, in a surprising turn of events, his publisher, moved by his honesty and the genuine talent they saw in him, offered him a second chance. They agreed to support David in writing a new book, one that would be entirely his own, provided he dedicate himself to the craft with sincerity and integrity. Months passed, during which Maya and David lived separate lives, their paths diverging, yet bound by the unresolved threads of their connection. It was during this period of reflection and growth that David poured his heart and soul into writing. The book that emerged was a testament to his journey, a story inspired by his love for Maya and the lessons he had learned about honesty, forgiveness, and the redemptive power of truth. The day came when David, having completed his novel, reached out to Maya with a simple request to meet him for lunch. The meeting was tense at first, the air filled with a mix of anticipation and uncertainty. David presented Maya with a wrapped gift, a gesture that felt both familiar and fraught with significance. As Maya unwrapped the present, her eyes widened in surprise. It was David's new book, its cover artfully designed, the title resonating with a depth of emotion that immediately touched her heart. But it was the dedication that brought tears to her eyes. "To Maya, my muse, my inspiration, the one whose love taught me the power of honesty and forgiveness. Will you marry me?" The question hung in the air, a fragile thread connecting their past to the possibility of a shared future. Maya looked into David's eyes, searching for the sincerity and remorse she needed to see. What she found was a man transformed by love and the harsh lessons of life, someone who had come to understand the true value of integrity and the irreplaceable nature of trust. "Yes," she whispered, her voice laced with a mixture of joy and relief. The embrace that followed was a harbinger of a new beginning, a promise of a love rebuilt on the foundations of honesty, forgiveness, and the shared belief in the power of second chances. As they walked out of the coffee shop, hand in hand, the world around them seemed to glow with a new light, reflective of the dawn of their rekindled relationship. The path ahead was uncertain, laden with the challenges of rebuilding trust and forging a future together, but Maya and David were determined to navigate it side by side, their love serving as both anchor and sail. In the weeks that followed, David's new book began to gain traction, praised for its emotional depth and the authenticity of its narrative. Critics and readers alike were captivated by the story, unaware of the real-life inspiration behind it. For David, the success of the book was bittersweet, a constant reminder of the pain he had caused Maya and the lengths he had gone to make amends. Yet, it also stood as a testament to his growth, a symbol of his journey from deceit to redemption. Maya, too, found herself changed by the ordeal. Her bookstore, once a simple refuge for her love of reading, transformed into a space of deeper meaning. It became a venue for storytelling evenings, where people from all walks of life could come together to share their own tales of love, loss, and redemption. Through these stories, Maya sought to heal not just her own heart, but also to offer solace and understanding to others who had experienced the complexities of human relationships. As the seasons changed, bringing with them the promise of renewal, Maya and David began to plan their wedding. They envisioned a simple ceremony, one that reflected their shared values and the lessons they had learned. The guest list was small, comprising close friends and family, each of whom had supported them through their trials and triumphs. On a bright spring day, under the canopy of blooming trees, Maya and David exchanged vows. The air was filled with the scent of fresh flowers and the soft murmur of the gathered guests. As they promised to love, honor, and cherish each other, through challenges and triumphs, their words carried a weight that was deeply felt by all who witnessed the ceremony. The reception was held in the cozy backyard of Maya's bookstore, a place that had played a crucial role in their story. Laughter and music filled the air as guests celebrated the union of two individuals who had found their way back to each other through the power of forgiveness and the unyielding strength of love. As the evening drew to a close, Maya and David stood together, their hands intertwined, looking out at the faces of their friends and family. In that moment, they realized that their journey was not just about finding love, but about discovering the courage to face the truth, the resilience to overcome obstacles, and the grace to forgive. Their love story, much like the novels that filled Maya's bookstore, was a testament to the enduring power of the human heart. It was a story of two people who, despite the odds, chose to write their own ending, one filled with hope, love, and the promise of new beginnings. And as they embraced, the stars above seemed to shine a little brighter, whispering the age-old truth that love, in its purest form, is the most powerful story of all.